Good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining me. Today's Lockdown Pilates session live, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, I think is what people say, isn't it? Anyway, I don't do all that. So let's get started. I'm going to very quickly go through some health and safety points. So please listen to your body as you are working. We really want to think about the precision of every movement and how it feels for you. And if you feel any discomfort or any sickness or dizziness or unwell in any way, please stop. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you're exercising safely. If you've never done Pilates before, please visit my, I've done a series of 4 videos exactly for someone who hasn't done Pilates before to basically give you the basics of the Pilates principles, and then you can come and join a mixed ability class like this. So there'll be a link that just appears right now. So please go and visit that. If you have osteoporosis or any issues with fragile bones, this is probably not going to be the time to be doing Pilates without guidance, because there are certain modifications to the exercise that need to be done. And, you know, this is just not the right environment. This is not an osteoporosis friendly session. So I'm sorry, please find, do a Google search. There's plenty of them online. So that's that. Let's get started. So we're going to use potentially some equipment. So just make sure you've got maybe a little towel, a little hand towel that we can use to roll up and help us with our alignment. I shall tell you how to use that. A couple of hand weights, i.e. food cans that we can use. And I've also got a yoga strap, or you could use a dressing gown band, frankly, or a belt, or a TheraBand if you have one of those stretchy ones. So that's up to you. Would be we will be using those because we're going to do some leg circles. So let's make a start now into our just mobilizing through the body. We're going to do our Pilates setup first of all. So we set the body up before we move the body. So we think about our posture, we think about our alignment and our breathing, and we tie them. That's what makes Pilates Pilates. So let's start. First of all, we're going to have your feet together, and I want you to think about zipping up through the inner thighs. I'm just going to point the camera down a little bit more so that you can see the whole of me pretty much. So zipping up those inner thighs, we're going to think about drawing up that pelvic floor just gently, 30% contraction, pulling in through the abdominal. So by that, we pull the belly button in towards the spine. So that engages that deepest corset-like muscle, comes around you like a corset. That's our core. And we're going to open up those toes like a ballerina. And then we're going to open up the heels so that your feet are parallel. Have a quick check. Have a look at your knees. We don't want knees going off in different directions. Think about lining everything up nicely in line with the hips. So we're going to gently roll onto the balls of the feet and then back onto your heels. So at the moment, we're just thinking about taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. I want you to think about relaxing through the shoulders. And we're just changing that balance, that center of gravity. So you're having to work actually quite hard with the core, even doing this to stay nice and controlled. And then let's take the weight over onto one side. And this is that moment where I want you just to forget about what's going on in the outside world. Think about how your body is feeling. Connect with the movements that you're going to be making. Last one. Let's bring our weight evenly now over both feet. So press down through your big toe, your little toe, and your heel, and you will feel a gentle lift through the arches of the feet. Now we're going to keep those knees soft. So by that, I mean just not pressing back, just gently soften them. And we'll do some pelvic tilt. So tuck the tailbone under, and then let the tailbone go up behind. So we get that little arch here, and then we tuck the bottom under, we flatten that arch, and then increase that arch. So we're just moving that lumbar spine through its full range of movement. Everyone has got different range of movement. Some of you might not really get this connection at all at the moment. That's I see that quite a lot. But we develop that. It's almost like the mind just doesn't know which muscles to work. But we will overcome that. Then we want to find that midpoint where your hip bones and your pubic bones should be lined up in this vertical, plane, parallel to the wall in front of you. So let's grow nice and tall now out of the crown of the head. I want you to think about your chin being parallel to the floor, a little bit of a chin tuck so that you can feel the length down the back of your neck. You get a little sort of pulling at the bottom of your ears maybe. Shoulders up towards your ears, press them behind you and gently draw them down your back. So we're trying to slide those shoulder blades into your back pockets. And we're going to think about drawing up that pelvic floor. Take a nice belly breath in. And as you exhale, you are pulling that belly button in towards the spine. It's as if someone has taken a big needle and thread with a button on the end and they're pulling it out the other way. And as you do that, you pull that belly button towards your spine. Keep that connection now as you breathe into the side of the rib cage. So it's a deep breath here. And as you exhale through the mouth, someone pulls on that string behind you and your belly button goes towards your spine again. So with Pilates, when we pull up the pelvic floor and we pull the belly button to spine, that is engaging the core. Now there is a broad spectrum of how strong you make that pulling up and pulling in. So we want to think about doing it for the minimum required to perform the movement. So while we're standing here, it's 30%, gently pulling up and gently pulling in. And we still hold that while we are breathing. And then as the exercises get more difficult, the levers get harder and heavier, like your legs, you'll find that you really have to fire that up a little bit more. So that is your powerhouse, Pilates powerhouse. So let's take a moment now to start mobilizing the body. So we're going to press those hands behind. And then as you inhale, rise the arms up towards the ceiling, but keep the shoulder blades down. And then as we press those hands behind, we look over one shoulder. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, press the hands behind, look over your shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Keep those shoulders, the shoulder blades down away from your ears. Last couple. So we're mobilizing through the neck and mobilizing through the shoulders. We want to do the same on both sides of the body. A little bit of a warm up, get the blood flowing as well. Last one. Moving those hands down by your side. So shoulder shrugs next, or elbow circles. Let's change the direction. And we're still trying to keep that neutral spine. And last one, we can leave those hands down by your side. So we're going to mobilize through the spine. So keep those hips fixed, facing the front of the room. And it's going to be a breath in. And as you exhale, just draw yourself around to look over one shoulder. Imagine you've got a pole through the top of your head, and that is your spine, and you are rotating around that pole. Let's do one more on each side. And then we can free that movement up. Think about spiraling from your toes all the way around. Try to get as far around as you can. Last one. And then we gently come back to the center, slowing it down. Line up those feet with your knees and your hips. Stay standing. I'm just going to go on my knees because you'll be able to see me better. So we're standing and we're going to take a breath in and exhale, another breath in. Imagine you've got a big beach ball overhead, so nice pull up and pull in through the abdominals. Breath in, exhale. We're just going to side bend over, but we're reaching up to that top corner of the room. So we're not shortening too much. We're not compressing the spine. Let that outside hand just fall down. And we're going to turn. We're just going to wiggle it like a piece of spaghetti. And we're going to turn the palm to face away from you. And then gently bring that arm up nice and slowly. You can feel that resistance. As we come up, you've got that ball overhead, back to the center. Let's do the same on the other side. So make sure that we're not twisting forwards or backwards. It's as if we've got a pane of glass in front and a pane of glass behind. Wiggle that arm, relax like a piece of spaghetti. Turn the palm to face away from you. Nice pull in through the tummy as we gently, slowly lift that arm up. Oh, we can feel that beach ball between the arms, between your hands, come back up to the center. Grabbing two imaginary ropes from the ceiling, and we're going to pull those ropes down. There's a lot of resistance there. So slowly, slowly, slowly pulling those ropes down. Fold the elbows in, lengthen the arms. Excellent. So we're going to stabilize through the torso now. We've had that movement through the torso. We're now going to keep those hips level. Nice pull up and pull in as we do some circles through that hip joint. So you can do this with a bent leg or a straight leg. Think about stability through the Pilates box. That Pilates box is the shape made between your shoulders and your hips. So let's change direction. So a lot of the exercises, when we're working with Pilates exercises, will stabilize the box by using the core, and then the arms or the legs are mobilized. Not every exercise, but a lot of them. So think about that. Strength through the core stabilizes the box. Right, let's leave that foot out behind. We're going to make a diagonal straight line through the body as you tip forwards from the hip, which gives us a neutral spine. And then we're going to lift and tap that leg behind us. Now straighten that leg out. Make sure it's not the knee that's moving, or you can keep that leg hovered and pulse it. So you're going to squeeze through the bottom here. This is where the work is happening. And we're pulling in through the tummy to keep the upper body absolutely steady. Now just think about the alignment of your neck. It wants to be an extension of your spine. So lengthen through the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders down and back. Then we're going to bring that knee to the front and rotate the ankle one way and back around the other way. And let's lower down. Perfect. Same on the other side. So nice pull up and pull in. Stabilize that Pilates box. And let's do those leg circles. Again, you've got the option of a straight leg or a bent leg. You might need to have something to balance, help you balance. You could use the back of a chair, for example. Dining room chair, let's change direction. Or have your fingertips on the wall. Let's do last one. Leave that foot out behind, and again, square up those hips, gently tip forward, make sure your neck is an extension of your spine, squeeze through the bottom, pull in through the tummy, and we lift and tap, or keep that lovely long lengthened leg lifted, and we can then pulse it. No movement through the upper body, keep the shoulders back and down. Ooh. Last couple. Now we're going to bring that knee to the front, rotate the ankle one way, and back around the other, And we can gently lower down. So we always have a balance, or I always have a balance in my Pilates classes. So we'll do that next. So let's do, we'll do our aeroplane balance. So we'll start by keeping those hips nice and level. Let's draw up one knee. I'm going to do this sideways on. So from here, you might find that you're really wobbling about on that supporting ankle. Well, that's fine because we're building up the strength, but I want you to engage through the center now. So pull up the pelvic floor, draw in through the abdominals. Keep taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth so you're not holding your breath. Think about length through the crown of the head. So now we're going to put our foot onto the shin, or you can have the toe on the floor, and then open up through the hip. So we're going to take a few breaths here. So breathing into that nice strong center. Oh, I'm a bit wobbly today. And again, just think to yourself, how am I feeling today? You know, are you having a good day? Is it not so good? Working at the level that works for you. Don't beat yourself up if you're not as good as you were last week. Let's take a nice deep breath in as we bring those arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to keep the shoulders down away from your ears, and then we open up through the arms, bring the knee to the front, and then lengthen it out behind you. So nice pulling and pulling in the pelvic floor, pulling in through the belly as we tip forwards into our aeroplane. So just come down as far as feels comfortable for you. Lengthening through the limbs and pulling in through those abdominals and relax. I'm not doing so good today. I don't know why. One of those days. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So drawing up that opposite leg. Find your center. Be nice and strong there. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And we're going to bring that foot onto the shin. And again, we open up through the hip. You can have your toe on the floor. Is one option. Nice and strong through the center. We'll take a few breaths here. And it's a breath in. Bringing those arms up towards the ceiling while we keep the shoulder blades down. And then we're going to open up through the arms. Keep them here at shoulder height. Bring the knee to the front. Then we lengthen that leg out behind and gently start tipping into our aeroplane. And again, just come as far as you feel comfortable and then think about the lengthening. So nice and strong in the center and really lengthen those limbs away. Take a couple of breaths. And then we can return down onto the floor. Excellent. We've got our roll downs now. So just make sure you've got all your equipment handy, within reach. We're going to roll down. Start in our lovely Pilates posture, nice and strong through the center. It is a breath in. Exhale. We're going to start rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Let the arms hang nice and heavy. Keep those knees soft. Try not to poke your bottom out. So just rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And when you've come down as far as you can, we'll take a few breaths. And then we're going to start to restack. Building the spine back up. Shoulders will come back and down. We're ready to go again. So really articulate through that spine. So good support here through the powerhouse as we try to get as much mobility through each vertebrae as you can. Joseph Pilates said if you have a mobile, flexible spine, you will never be old. And I think he was right. Last roll down. That might not have been word for word, but you know, that's what he kind of meant. So coming down for our last roll down now. Let's get that lovely stretchy stretch up the back of the legs. And then we're going to let those arms really hang long and heavy. So you might need to hold on to your elbows or clasp your hands so they're not sort of dragging on the mat. And we want to get some lovely space in that shoulder socket. So let gravity draw those arms down. Same with the head and the neck. Really relax through that upper body as you nod the head as if you're saying yes. Shake the head as if you're saying no. Feels really great. So we're going to walk forwards onto our hands, down onto the knees, and come into a seated position. And we're going to do some dumbwaiter, so just a little bit of work through these shoulders. So you can sit cross-legged or straight-legged, whichever suits you best. Now, when we're in a seated position like this and we want to keep the spine in neutral, if you've got tight hamstrings or a tight lower back, that can be quite difficult. So I've got a couple of options. I'll just go through those quickly. So if you find that you're kind of pulling back and you can't get this nice neutral position, option one is to roll up your mat if it is that thick spongy type like this, like mine is, and prop your bottom up higher than your legs. And also just sit on the very front edge of it so that it helps to tip your pelvis. The other option is to sit on a cushion or a block. You can also, just to help you relax a little bit, you can place a cushion underneath your knees so that you can just let these legs relax if you've got tight hamstrings or lower back. So find a comfortable position where you can get as tall as possible through your neutral spine. So once we're here, elbows in towards your side. Think about the waist. This is your powerhouse, your core. As we pull up the pelvic floor and pull in through the tummy, that is keeping you lifted, lengthened through your lumbar back. So don't collapse into it. Really focus on that lengthening through the waist. Nice pull in through the tummy, elbows tight in, palms facing the ceiling. So it's a breath in. As you exhale, keep the shoulders down and relax, and we just open up those arms. So some people have got quite a good range of movement here. Others won't have quite so good a range of movement. Shoulder rotation. Strengthening up those rotator cuff muscles. So inhaling to return to the center, exhaling to open, and don't forget to stay nice and tall. Using the breath. Exhale and inhale and exhale. You can do this with some hand weights if you like. Grab your cans. We're just going to extend this a little bit. Keep those elbows in. Make sure elbows are in. Otherwise, we don't get that proper movement. So, last one, we keep those arms wide, and then we're going to rise them up so they're nice and straight. And then we empty the can, whether you have cans or not. Fold the elbows back in. And exhale. Straighten up the arms. Keep those shoulders back, down, away from your ears. We empty the can. So we're squeezing those shoulder blades together as we open up through the arms. This is a lovely one just to mobilize, strengthen the rotator cuff muscles. Keep that shoulder joint nice and healthy. Are we still sitting tall? So nice pull in through the tummy, don't collapse through the waist. We've got one more. Last one. Perfect. We can get rid of those cans. And we're going to do a little bit of a seated archer. So we will have those legs out in front now, feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. We can hold underneath the thighs just to start with. I'm going to turn a little bit more sideways on. So nice and tall with our neutral spine. Then it's a breath in. And as you exhale, we tuck the bottom under and we get this C shape through the spine. Without bringing your chin onto your chest, we're still lengthening through the crown of the head. Come down halfway. Breath in. Exhale, drawing yourself back up, and then we come nice and tall and neutral. Ready to go again. Exhale, we tuck that bottom under, make that nice C shape through the spine. Keep the shoulders down and back. Length through the crown of the head. Inhale, exhale. So this is option one. Option two, we would bring those arms parallel, so we're not holding onto the back of the thighs. Keep the shoulders back and down. Make sure you've got that lovely C shape through the spine. So we start rolling down just to halfway. This is great for strengthening up those abdominal muscles. You might find your thighs are really working hard here as well because they like to join in. But we're trying to focus on inhale and then exhale. Pull the belly button down and come back up. We're going to have a little bit of rotation. So exhale from here. Keep shoulders back and down. Draw the string on a pretend bow as you rotate. Draw it back. You're going to turn the upper body. Inhale, exhale, back up, tall and neutral. So it's nice and slow, working with the breath. Inhale, exhale. Draw that string back on your bow. Inhale, exhale. Last two or three. Breath in. Exhale. Stay nice and strong in the center. The pelvic floor, putting your belly button towards your spine. Protect that lower back. Come up to neutral. Last two. Take a break if you need to. Inhale, exhale as we do the movement. Inhale back to the center. Exhale. I want to hear you exhaling because I want you to connect that exhale with that pulling in through those abdominals and drawing up that pelvic floor. Inhale, exhale. And back up to neutral. Let's have one roll down all the way onto the mat now. And we're going to have your feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. We're going to do the 100. So I'll just quickly go through those options of the 100. We do 100 arm beats. So those arm beats want to come from the shoulder joint. So don't wiggle your wrists or your elbows. Think about gently lengthening down away from your ears as you do 5 beats to breathe in through the nose. And then turn the palms to face the ceiling and do 5 beats while you exhale through the mouth. So don't worry too much if your breathing gets out of sync. Just make sure that you are still breathing. You never hold your breath. So if I'm saying breathing in and you're breathing out, don't worry too much. Just keep breathing. But the aim is to have a nice deep breath in for 5, exhale for 5. So whilst we've got those arm beats going on, level 1 with the legs will be one leg in tabletop, and then halfway through we will swap to the other side and do the other leg. If you're doing option 2, you're going to have both legs in tabletop for the whole 100. If you're doing level 2.5, you're going to straighten one of those legs out, keep the other one in tabletop, swap over halfway. And if you're doing option 3, you're going to have nice straight legs, lower them as far as you can, maybe have a turnout so that you're really gluing those inner thighs together. So those are your options. Let's keep that neutral spine. So we've got that flat hand gap under the lower back. So make sure it's a flat hand gap. We don't want to be arching, overarching. And then really engage through the powerhouse. Let's bring legs up to where option 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, or 3. And you can lift, if you are familiar with Pilates and you like to have your head and shoulders lifted for the 100, please do so. Breath in. Exhale up to position, and we're going to breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is the last one. And out 2, 3, 4, 5. And just hug those knees in. Might have given you one extra there. Not sure. Let's roll from side to side, and then you can roll your head to release off through the neck as well. Wonderful. We're going to move on to our bridging next. So let's just have a nice full body stretch first of all. Reach those arms and legs away. Keep the shoulders away from your ears. Coming back into our semi-supine position. So feet are flat on the floor. Knees are bent. You can bring your feet a little bit closer to your knees for the bridge. Make sure you haven't got anything under the back of your head when we do our shoulder bridging. And draw those shoulders down away from your ears. And we're just going to take a moment in this, which is known as the relaxation pose also. And we're going to take some deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And every time you breathe out, imagine the body softening and melting into the mat. Shoulders, you want to be widening across the collarbones. Last couple of breaths. And then we're going to start going into our shoulder bridge. And I want you to try and maintain that soft feeling through the shoulders, the back of the neck. So the work is going to happen in the glutes. So keep that back relaxed. So when we're ready, we're going to start peeling the spine away from the mat, but use the heels. So press the heels away. That's how we're going to get that lovely peeling of the spine away from the mat, not using our lower back too much, not overusing that. Good squeeze through the bottom, press those heels down, send those knees away. So option 1, you can place your fingertips on your hip bones. We'll just give you a little bit of feedback, what's going on with your body. So be aware of any movements, any unwanted movements, as we lift one heel away from the mat and then return it. So those hips want to stay level. We're working on pelvic stability. Good pull up and pull in. Lifting one heel at a time, not too fast. so that we can really feel what's going on with the body as we do that. So we don't want the knees flaring out to the side, and we don't want a sort of bending in the middle. So keep that lovely squeeze through the bottom. You should be on the back of your shoulder blades. So that's option one. Option two, we're going to need to fire up that core a little bit more. So breath in, exhale, just bring one leg up into tabletop and really press through those heels, and then lower. And exhale to do the same on the other side. So we're lifting and lowering, keeping the supporting heel pressing into the mat, squeezing through the bottom to stay nice and level through the hips. Alternating sides. So really focus on the quality of that movement. Press through the heels, squeeze through the bottom. Don't go saggy in your shoulder bridge. We're working on stability through the pelvis and through the torso, relaxing through the shoulders. Last couple. And then we're going to return that spine one vertebrae at a time. So get that lovely mobility through the spine. Have a little hug into those knees if you need to, just to release off before we go on to our second shoulder bridge. And for this one, I've got to shuffle down because I have limited room. So make sure you've got room around you. And let's do this one with the band. So whatever your band is, your belt, your band, fold it in half. We don't want it too long. And we're just going to have arms about shoulder width apart. We'll go into our shoulder bridge in a minute. Just show you the arms first. So shoulder width apart, nice straight wrists. So look at your wrists. You don't want them to be bending backwards as if you're on a motorbike or anything. Keep them nice and long, as if you had a ruler on the back of your hand going down your forearm, and it would be connected the whole way along. Okay, so let's bring those hands down by your side, ready to go into our second shoulder bridge. Breath in, exhale, we come up, pressing down through those heels again so you get that lovely squeeze through the bottom, coming up onto the shoulder blades, pressing those knees away. Don't let the knees flare out to the side. Think about them going away in the opposite direction. Arms come up towards the ceiling. So I want you just to spread your shoulder blades out on the mat behind you, underneath you, and just gently let them melt into the mat so you can feel sort of nice and heavy behind you. And then it's the breath in. As you exhale, we just reach those hands up towards the ceiling. So we're trying to bring the shoulder blades off the mat a little bit and then lower them back in. So nice and gently, protraction and retraction. We're still staying nice and aligned in our shoulder bridge, so don't get saggy on me. Keep pressing down through those heels. If you want more of a challenge here, you can have your feet together and your knees together. That will create less of a stable base of support. Reaching up, pressing back. Let's do last one. And pressing back. So once those shoulders are nicely connected with the mat, let's get our lovely shoulder bridge still. And we're just simply going to keep the shoulders down away from your ears as you bring your arms overhead. And the rib cage is not going to move. We've got a nice soft rib cage. And then bring those hands down onto your thighs. Really lengthen down towards your knees. Try to reach your knees. And then we bring those arms up and over again, and the shoulders stay away from your ears. So you may or may not be able to get your hands on the floor. Depends on your mobility. But we're going nice and slow, and we are thinking of keeping those elbows as straight as you can. Some people will find that impossible and will have a little bit of a bend. That's fine. So we've all got slightly different things going on, but we can modify. So we're just thinking about that movement. So we can make it a bit more dynamic now. Trying to keep the shoulder girdle stable, your shoulder bridge nice and strong, while we are mobilizing those shoulders. Gently pulling on the band, so we've got a little bit of tension. We're trying to pull our hands apart a little bit. Last couple. And then we're going to leave those hands overhead and gently return down one vertebrae at a time. Let's bring those arms back by your side. Perfect. All right, we're going to keep the band, and we're going to do some leg circles. So placing one foot in the band, we've got this leg, the supporting leg can either be bent, but let it just roll out to the side a little bit, or you can have it straight. And if you've gone for the straight leg option, I want you to focus on keeping that leg really nice and strong. So pressing the back of the knee into the mat and lengthening that leg away. So first off, we're going to do small circles, which are going to gradually get bigger and bigger. And we are focusing on maximum mobility through that joint. So don't worry too much about the hips moving about. You can roll from side to side. We're looking to get really big, stretchy movements. My sofa gets in the way, unfortunately. So hopefully you've got enough room. We're really maximizing that movement. Now, if you are hypermobile, you will know that your joints are much more flexible than average, in which case I want you to think about doing this to 90% of your maximum, because actually you need to learn to build that control in. Everyone else, we can just try and get as much length through those ligaments as we can. Let's change direction. Again, start small, get bigger. Try to keep that leg nice and long and straight. Use the band to help you pull it round. We're really just thinking about maximum mobility. So let's come back to the start point. Now, I want that knee, that thigh rather, to be at 90 degrees to your body. And if that is impossible because of your hamstrings, then get rid of the band and come to tabletop, okay? So that we've got this 90 degrees here. That's really important. So either straight leg if you can, if you can't, 90 degrees. If you've got a slight bend, that's okay. But if you find that you're really there, just go for tabletop. Or you find you can't bring your leg up and you're kind of here, go for tabletop. So I'll do this in tabletop just to show you, but otherwise you can have the band. So now we're going to keep those hips anchored there on the mat, and we're going to go across the body and then down and round and across the body again. So I want you to keep those hips anchored onto the mat now as we do those leg circles. So your circles want to be up towards the ceiling. If you're doing it with a straight leg, I'll show you. But we want to think about that circle. Have a look at it up on the ceiling that you're doing. Are you coming out to the side? Are you coming across the body? Try not to pull on the band now. The movement comes from the leg. The band is there just to add a little bit of help. Keep those legs nice and strong. Let's change direction. So the slower you go, I don't want you to go too fast. Think about half a circle while you breathe in and half a circle while you breathe out, lengthening that leg away unless you're in tabletop. And you can feel those leg muscles, those muscles around the hip joint, they're all working. Fantastic, last one. Let's change over to the other side. So again, we've got a bent leg or a straight leg. And we're just going to work on maximum mobility to start with. Start those circles small, gradually get bigger. Don't worry about your hips rocking about, that's fine. Those with hypermobility, just bring it back about 90%. Work with 90% of your range of movement. And you open up through those hips. It's going to feel great. Let's change direction. Again, start with the smaller circles, and then we gradually get bigger until you're really swinging those legs around. Now you can lift the hips up. Last one. And then let's reset back up to the center. Nice strong leg, or you've got that bent leg slightly out to the side. But think about the hips now. The back of the pelvis is nice and anchored onto the mat. And we start doing those circles up towards the ceiling with that thigh bone. So you've either got a straight leg, or you've got your leg maybe in tabletop. Half a circle while you breathe in, half a circle while you breathe out. I find breathing out when the leg comes away from the center is the best, because then you can really engage through the powerhouse and keep the pelvis nice and stable. Let's change direction. And again, try not to pull on the band. Keep those, the opposite hip's going to be anchored onto the mat. The last one or two. Last one. Fantastic. Right, let's lose the band there. And we're going to do some side lying exercise now. So we'll take the towel to help us line up the body. We'll do some torpedo. So use the back edge of the mat to line yourself up. So you want your knees, hips, shoulders on top of each other. That lower arm is going to come out underneath you. And again, in that straight line, ideally. If you struggle because you've got shoulder issues, you can bring that arm towards the front more, but bend the elbow and use it as a sort of pillow like that. Or, like I say, nice and long. And we've got the towel between your ear and your shoulder just to help line up that neck a little better. So little gap now under the lower waist. So imagine I'm trying to post a letter through, and we're going to keep pulling up through the pelvic floor, pulling in through the tummy. So we're really strong through the center, and you don't just then collapse onto the mat. Top arm in front just to support you. It's a breath in. And as you exhale, fire up the core, send those legs away from you, and they're going to lift all by themselves. You've still got that little gap under your waist. Hold it while you inhale. Exhale to lower. So take it nice and slowly, using the breath. We can add difficulty by placing that top arm across the body. You might find that's too wobbly, in which case please go back to hand in front. So sending those legs nice and long away from you. That is the key. And the nice strong center. That is the key to those. Both are the keys. Exhale and lengthen while you hold. While you inhale, rather. Hold it while you inhale. And lower. Inhale, ready to go again. So we can add in a rainbow arm. Inhale, exhale, we lengthen. We pause while we inhale. On the next exhale, the arm is going to come up and over, but don't let the shoulders go up towards your ears. Keep the shoulder blades down and back. And lower. Inhale, exhale, lift and lengthen, hold. On the next exhale, last one. Lovely. We're just going to swap straight over onto the other side and do the torpedo on the other side. So, again, straight line through the body. That lower arm wants to be out long or have it slightly more forwards with a bent elbow. Towel between your ear and your shoulder. Little gap under that lower waist. Nice pull up and pull in through the powerhouse. Top arm to support you in front to start with, and it's a breath in. Exhale. Lengthen out through those legs. Hold it while you inhale. Exhale to lower. And again, we can lay that top arm across the body. It's going to add more of a challenge to stay stable. So focus the mind, concentrate the mind. Nice and strong through the powerhouse. That makes all the difference to this exercise in particular. So nice focused movements with strong center, working with the breath. You can add in the rainbow arm. So pause while you inhale. Exhale, the arm comes up and over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, ready to go again. Exhale. Pause while you inhale. And exhale. So you can see it really slows this exercise down when we work with the breath. So we can focus on the quality of the movements. And as we bring the arm up, we keep the shoulder blades back and down, but lengthen through the limb. Let's do last couple. Last one. Exhale, hold it while you inhale. Exhale, that arm comes up. Keep the shoulder back and down. Lengthen. And exhale to lower. Lovely. So we're going to move on to our front lying exercise. I've got the dart for us to do, and then also a little something for the shoulders. So using the towel, we create a little block under the forehead. So we still got that chin tuck, so we've got the length down the back of the neck as we lie face down on the mat. Arms come down by your side, palms facing the ceiling. Let your shoulders flop onto the mat. Now you might want to watch the first couple as I show you the different elements. So shoulders forward. It's a breath in. We're going to pull up and pull in and exhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. And we lift the arms up towards the back of the thighs. So it's nice and long. The legs can stay relaxed as possible. and then lower. Let the shoulders roll forwards. Breath in, exhale. We lengthen through the crown of the head, really engage through the powerhouse. Now squeeze those shoulder blades together behind you as you reach your fingers down towards your heels. Make sure that you're not lifting your chin. Think about your neck being an extension of your spine, so we're not putting a bend in it. It's long, 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 okay? Long spine, long neck. And then we draw those shoulders back and down. You can stay up for a couple of breaths. This point, you shouldn't be feeling any pain in your lower back. Make sure you've got a nice strong center if you do. So draw up the pelvic floor. Engage through the belly button. So it's as if you're trying to draw your belly button away from the mat, as if there's a drawing pin underneath it. So we lift and lower. You can stay up for a couple of breaths if you like, to make it a little bit harder. But it's about length through the crown of the head. Don't come up too high. Reach those fingers gently but strongly down towards your heels. And you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. So almost turn your palms to face each other so that you've got that lovely openness across here, across the front of the shoulders, and then lower. Now we're going to add in the legs. So the legs are also going to lift and lengthen away, but we're nice and strong through the center, so we're not feeling any pressure in that lower back. Really important. It's all about length. Turn those palms to face each other, squeeze those shoulder blades together. We are strengthening up the whole of the back of the body with this exercise. Staying nice and protected with that lower back because we're pulling up and pulling in, so we're really strong through our powerhouse. Last couple. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, lengthen those arms away. Last one. Let's stay up for a couple of breaths if you can, using our Pilates breathing. And then lower. So I've got a very quick exercise just to a little bit of a release through the shoulders. So we bring one arm comes overhead with the palm facing down, and the other arm, it stays by your side with the palms facing up. Relax onto the mat. So from here, we're going to just lift those hands away from the floor. Keep the shoulders back and away from your ears. And we're going to pulse upwards for 20. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Change sides. And it's keep shoulders down and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Just bring those hands next to your ears, and then we're going to do one more set on each side. So reaching one arm up, one arm down, shoulders, girdle stays away from your ears. We lift those hands and we pulse up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Swap. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. We lift the hands and we pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Excellent. Coming up onto all fours now. We're just going to do a little bit of cat and cow to release through the spine. So angry cat, we tuck the bottom under, we drop the head between the arms, and we press the spine up towards the ceiling. Relax through the head and shoulders. And then we're going to go into cow. So drop the belly Lift the tail, keep the shoulders back and down, and keep looking down at the mat. Let's go back into our angry cat. Make sure you're still breathing, taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Back into our cow. Let's find a neutral spine now, and we're going to walk those hands around to one side. So we get a little bit of a side bend. And then we walk those hands around to the other side. Back to the center. We're going to do thread the needle next. So we place the hand through the gap across the body, lower the shoulder, reach through. Let's come back to the center. We'll do the same on the other side. Coming back to the center, I want you to open up those knees, keep the toes together, reach the hands overhead, and then just send your tail away so that you get a lovely stretch and then lengthening through the spine. Coming up onto all fours, we're just going to do one last roll up to standing. So pop those toes under, walk the hands back, where we straighten up those legs and start to restack through the vertebrae and back up to standing. So nice big breath in. Reach those hands up behind you and press forwards with the hips. Well done. Give yourselves a clap. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed that session. So yes, please do, if you liked it, why don't you share it? Share it with your friends. Let's spread the love, spread the Pilates love. And so next Lockdown Pilates session is going to be on Wednesday, and then I'm going to be doing one on Saturday morning. So no Pilates on Friday morning, just because, why not? It's bank holiday, I think, anyway. So yeah, that's hopefully see you on Wednesday. Thanks very much for joining me.